is the reconciler between the ego and the outer world, the soul image is the reconciler between the ego and the inner world. Once fully realized and integrated, the soul image can bring incredible enrichment into consciousness and a vital expansion of the true self. Archetypes. The third step in the process of individuation is the manifestation of archetypes. An archetype is an idea, mode of thought, or God form that has manifested from the inherited experiences of humankind, from the collective unconscious. Quote, the concept of the archetype is derived from the repeated observation that, for instance, the myths and fairy tales of world literature contain definite motifs which crop up everywhere. We meet these same motifs in the fantasies, dreams, deliria, and delusions of individuals living today. These typical images and associations are what I call archetypal ideas. The more vivid they are, the more they will be colored by particularly strong feeling tones. They impress, influence, and fascinate us. They have their origin in the archetype, which in itself is an irrepresentable, unconscious, pre-existent form that seems to be part of the inherited structure of the psyche and can therefore manifest itself spontaneously anywhere at any time. End quote. According to Jung, once the soul image has been integrated, next comes the manifestation of the major archetypes of spirit and matter. These include the wise old man as the spirit principle in man, and the great mother as the principle of matter or nature in women. Here we are dealing with the primal roots of the psyche of either sex back to its origins, and the ancient god forms from which they derive. Both the wise old man and the great mother can appear in a multitude of figures from all world mythologies. They are the sky gods, earth mothers, heroes, heroines, magicians, priests, priestesses, prophetesses, harvest gods, and fertility goddesses of all pantheons. These ancient archetypes are transcendent energies that can bring much wisdom and spiritual growth. Jung referred to archetypal figures of the psyche as mana personalities. This is a particular archetype or group of archetypes that the individual psyche most strongly expresses or manifests. A person who has mana is said to have power and influence over others, but also runs the risk of becoming self-centered and megalomaniacal. This is because these great universal archetypes produce a potent attraction which can, in some instances, entice the individual into identifying him or herself with the archetype, creating a type of self-aggrandizement or ego inflation. Such is the path of many modern-day messiahs, self-appointed gurus, and power-mad spiritual leaders. Quote, an inflated consciousness is always egocentric and conscious of nothing but its own existence. It is incapable of learning from the past, incapable of understanding contemporary events, and incapable of drawing right conclusions about future. It is hypnotized by itself and therefore cannot be argued with. It inevitably dooms itself to calamities that must strike it dead. End quote. All of us surrender to such arrogance during this process of individuation. However, the creative energies that are stimulated in the psyche by the appearance of archetypes can be fully accessed only after one has humbly acquired the ability to discern the difference between him or herself and them. On the road to self-growth, we must not mistake personal insights into our own inner workings as messages from God to his new chosen prophet. We must work to clarify our relationship to spirit and nature as represented by the gods' archetypes. These potent and eternal forces are a part of our psyche that are meant to empower and inspire us. Magicians regard archetypes as various forms or images of divinity that teach us about ourselves and our place in the divine universe. The conscious recognition of the psychic elements that comprise the mana personality archetype brings the first real sense of authentic individuality. Accessing archetypes. Although textbooks on psychology provide few examples of archetypes for the reader to explore, various textbooks on magic are often replete with such prototype figures. Many are readily found in the cards of the tarot. Meditation on these images, as well as a host of tarot exercises that can be found in such books as Madonna Compton's Archetypes on the Tree of Life, Gareth Knight's Tarot and Magic, Paul Foster Case's Book of Tokens, or our own book, The New Golden Dawn Ritual Tarot, can be used to identify and connect with the various archetypes that inhabit the psyche. Several archetypes in the form of gods and goddesses are correlated to the spheres on the Tree of Life, according to their nature and characteristics. War and fire gods are assigned to Gebura, goddesses of love and pleasure to Netzach, etc. A small selection of deities from several pantheons are listed in Chapter 10. Meditation on these figures can aid in understanding the archetypal beings that one may encounter in the process toward true self-awareness. It is important that the student not fall into the trap of the psychologization of magic that is a result of misunderstanding Jung's theories. To the pop psycholo-occultist, the archetypes, deities, and symbols are simply creations of the human mind. They have no existence beyond the individual human being. Pop psychology sometimes gives the impression that humans create, work with, and discard archetypes as easily as an old pair of shoes in a kind of superficial mental role-playing game. This view does not do Jung's theory justice, since archetypes exist eternally and independently of any individual. To truly understand this, one must be willing to accept the spiritual, magical side of human existence